the TZS Podcast.
Did you mute him?
5-man edition.
It just didn't get picked up.
What the fuck?
Your
Okay.
initial thing didn't get picked
Oh my god.
Hi guys, welcome to the TZS 5-man Podcast.
Please
My name is Mewtwo, and I wanted to introduce you to everyone here. So on my top right, you have Kraken.
That's your left. Buddy, learn your direction.
Oh my god.
I guess if you're going from your POV, I guess technically you're facing the opposite direction. So I
Yeah,
guess I would
the
be top
POV.
right. But
Oh my
Facing my
god.
top right is Kraken. Facing my top middle is Vapor. And facing the top left is Pepe. And then in my bottom right, coming in from his Thailand trip, David!
No.
Why'd you guys put me down here?
I'm sorry. Next time I'll stack 4 on the top and 1 on the bottom.
Wait, this is the wrong one.
Oh. Fun fact: David did go to Japan though, so that's really cool. That's pretty good.
I am tired.
Well,
And mildly ill. So I came home just to do this with you guys.
And so you came home, what, like 6 hours ago? If that?
Yeah.
Let me give you a kiss.
Oh my god.
How is the
a little more than
soup, David?
The soup.
He's got that brain. You sounded just like Pepe.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that riptide. Oh, my Olive Garden soup, bro.
Oh my
I
god.
can remember
Is this your soup?
that.
Oh, that's my soup.
Oh my god. If you know, you know. But oh.
Welcome to the shenanigans, folks. Welcome to shenanigans. We got 5 of us today. This is the first time we've had more than... We didn't have exactly 4 of us, I should point out. We've had exactly 4 people every single time. 4th episode, we have 5 people. What are we doing, people?
That episode's gonna go right back down to 4.
No.
Just wait until we go up to 6.
You know what? I'm gonna throw this out here, folks. More TZS podcast is sooner than you think.
Mm-hmm.
We're cooking already for the next 2 episodes. I just want to point that out.
Even David doesn't know. Ooh.
I mean, I did just put it in the
I can
podcast
read.
channel.
Yeah, I can read the chat.
I
I had to read the chat in order to get this thing started.
But tentatively, we're going weekly for like 3 weeks. Tentatively. Not permanently. Just for a little bit.
At least that's
things
the
we want to
idea.
talk about. You know, it's been what, like a month since we had the last podcast?
Yeah.
And that's about the CCA one, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
CCA one.
Which you should go watch.
Which also with the CCA one too, the CCA one, you know, we had that one backlog too. So if you think about it, this one here is also actually part of a backlog. So we're just catching up to what we wanted to talk about here all the way back into the last year.
We pushed this back for. We've pushed this one back for almost 3 months now, or something like that.
Because this one was originally going to be part of the SAC. The CCA was going to be part of the SAC, and we realized we yap too much. We can probably do 1, maybe 2 topics in 2 hours. It's just not reasonable for us to do much more. We just talk too much. And we feel like, I think with both of them, we felt we had to cut some things that we would have rather talked about. And with the CCA one, 2.5 hours, and we still, some things were like, we kind of had to glance over them, especially at the end. I don't know what Mewtwo's doing. I should just block him. But
I'm a worm. I'm a worm. I'm a little worm. Would you still love me if I was a worm?
Where's the server meet button?
I think we need the kill the video too. But anywho, I know I did see Froggy ask about guest episodes. That's in the cooks. I promise. We've said that for a while now. It's been cooking, but we're we're really cooking. I don't want to promise because things fall apart, but within the next few episodes, we'll have our first guest run, which is pretty cool.
Dude,
of course,
as we can hope.
as I think this is kind of a good leading into just kind of a general TZS update because we haven't, we've been talking about so much different stuff. It's been now a few months. Everyone's got a bunch of things. We're gonna be really busy here, so working with guests is gonna help out the podcast a little because we might only have like 2 people available.
Yeah.
We just talked about David just getting back from Japan, and you're going what, Vietnam here this coming week?
Soon, yeah. So I'll be in Vietnam fairly soon. We'll overlap with part of the CCA League and Ludi. So which is slightly unfortunate, but if I could choose to be not here, then I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So it is what it is.
You know what they say about Vietnam. Do not fall into their Vietnamese pit traps that they used during the Vietnam War.
That is a tour. You can take a tour of those things. I always see like TikTok videos of like all the white folk that are like, oh my gosh, look how cute this tight crawl space was. And it's like, girl, no. Please, no.
That's horrible.
This is very very historical, and there's some very terrible things that happen.
Speaking of general TZS updates, let me read today's horoscope.
We don't have that much time, Moo.
Hey, do not be ashamed of your body, bruh.
Okay, fair enough.
300-pound ass, 30-year-old ass with wife and kids ass.
Oh my god. No.
According to Twitter,
Allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah.
Wait, did I miss something when I was gone?
Oh, David, no, that was a while back. This is like that
was a while ago.
We're referencing old stuff. Gotcha.
Yeah,
I just want to make sure I didn't miss new lore.
Nah, not new lore. We just roll with the lore because it's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
But anybody else? Do you have any like general, just kind of how things going? How I have a couple things to say, but I'll with some of the tournaments and stuff we ran recently as well. So, but anybody, anything you want to share? Any fun going on?
Roll it, Pepe.
I mean, well, as far as for me goes, I can also piggyback to David here. Not too long ago, there was a SoCali that happened, SoCali 6. That tournament, like, in and of itself was, like, great. Like, if you guys are ever curious about any local lands around your area, like if you're in California, there's one in SoCal called SoCali, there's one in NorCal called Buyabe. So, shout-outs to that. But for me, like, I recently played SoCali with David, Brian, and shout-outs to Shiny. And that tournament was really fun. Like, it was such a good time. We did end up getting second place, spoiler, but honestly, from that placement, like, it really taught, at least for me, it taught me so much about, like, as a competitor, and we've been winning a lot of, like, SoCali 2 tournaments, like, the second one, second to fifth, first place, pretty much with shout-outs to Mew, who was at the second one. But then, yeah, like, with the expectation that, like, we've been getting, like, first place after so many events, like, having a second place now, it just feels different. It really, like, it does feel different. And then, like, learning a lot from it. I honestly, like, took a nice little break from Splatoon. Focusing on my work here and there. Work has been absolutely amazing on my end. Just a little bit about it. I work at a film studio here in the local Arizona film business, and it's really good. It's been treating me, like, really, really nice here. So yeah, as far as for that, like, it's been doing that, and then a little bit of preparation for the for Sunset Surge, which is happening on March 29th, and the LAN Championship Showdown, which will happen in late April. So yeah,
that's pretty cool, Pepe. Another TZS update is that my scoliosis is acting up, so I don't know how much longer I can be in this position. I may need to go back to sitting position. Anyways, David, how have you been? I think it's been a while since we've seen you.
Oh my god.
Gave my update.
I think.
Wait, you just said that I got back in Japan.
We gotta
Vapor, how's
talk
life
to
been?
this one right here.
Hey, Vapor,
Yes.
how's life been at PSU? I know PSU Blue is training for its bronze medal match for the CCA circuit. So I just
CCA
wanna know how-
circuit?
Wait, is CCA not doing another circuit?
Yeah.
What's going on?
It's a
What's
league.
going on?
We're back in league.
the league.
You know, we thought that we also thought that there was only going to be one league running from late
boy.
February through April.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
So Vapor, how have you and PSU Blue been training for the CCA league?
Yeah. We are
Bro,
we are
he's tired.
definitely
We can hear him
doing
breathing.
we're definitely doing pretty well, and I think we're also expected to be up towards the top once again. Like I don't remember where Blue placed last season, but I know it was still top 8 overall, and I think people are going to expect us finishing in that same caliber, if not higher up the top 8. So we're back. We're back. A little bit of a stronger roster with me returning for Blue,
Hey, Kraken's
and
here. Hold on. Yeah, it's like-
a little bit of a stronger roster with me returning to Blue, paired up with J, Snow, and V this season, running a tight 4 roster for season 6.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Glad to hear that PSU Blue is on the up and up. You know, after they lost Kraken in that tragic car accident, it's been hard.
I know.
You know,
I'm sorry.
I know during the CCA circuit.
I don't know if you can joke that way. You know, we had in one of the seasons I was there, a match had to get delayed because of a car accident. Everyone was fine.
Yeah.
Marsh's team, right? Remember that, David?
Remember.
Mhm.
yeah, that's horrible.
You
Yeah,
don't have
so
to
I
tell
don't-
me twice about Marsh.
Oh.
Marsh's team. We remember.
We remember.
But
Man.
yeah, glad to hear. You know, PSU Blue's doing fine and well. Kraken, how have you been with your? I don't know what you do nowadays.
Gardevoir. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh.
I promise I don't have the 5-foot plush coming. I can't afford it. Or if I would. I'm just kidding.
Only a 3-foot-1.
If I had one, it would go right here. Just kidding. I'd move my desk. I'd put
This
a
is
chair
where
right
this
there.
is where I would put my Gardevoir if I had one.
If I had one.
Just a lot of gaming. Hey, me and Vapor, we did a lot of tournaments over the last couple weeks.
Yeah, what's that
In a
about?
week, I did 8 tournaments in like 7 days or something like that.
Damn.
I think at
With,
one point the
with
peak
us two alone.
was 6 in 4 days or something like that, and then a
Yeah.
couple spread out. Yeah, got
With us two alone, we did. Us two alone, we did like 5 in
Yeah.
like 3 days.
We did some with the whole gang because we did a couple. We did the Thursday afternoon event with Ichi in Pork.
Yeah.
And Kin came in for the last game because Pork had to go for work.
Didn't know that.
Game
Nice.
5 of the 3rd place match. We did win, by the
Yeah.
way. We did win.
We did win.
You guys won? Dang!
Game 5
We got
substitute.
bronze.
Yeah.
We got bronze.
Wow. I did not know that at all. That's
Uh,
actually kind of cool. Damn.
The top row plus Pork of us, we did the Miku beam. Brush Gang and I did a couple events, got a couple wins. And then me and Vapor did a 2v2 event that we won. Because I can't lose in 2v2 events, and I had to get a Brush badge, for my profile. And so we just had to go to a 2v2 event with a Brush badge instead of a normal event with a Brush badge, because I find ways to get second place in those.
Of course.
Man.
A
That's
couple
how
more
everything
things,
has to
but
work
yeah.
out.
Same. So it's been a week, and then hey, we were prepping for podcasts. That's what I've been doing, and apparently he's now setting up the next 2 podcasts already. We're getting ahead of schedule.
That's pretty
Gonna
cool.
be good.
That's pretty cool, Kraken. Well, if anyone else has any general TZS updates that they want to say that they want to say, they could say it now. I don't know if
You
anyone
have
has
something new.
What? Hold on.
Do you have something new?
Hold on.
Do you have an update?
I know, yeah. Wait, you didn't go.
Where's your update?
My update? Oh, me! Yeah! Oh, me!
Does he go like that?
I think I should just poof him.
I have a dartboard right there. I have a
Really
dartboard
Is that new?
dartboard.
I use the dartboard.
Is that new?
I use the dartboard every day. I hit 2 bullseyes.
You had it for 2
yesterday.
days.
I had it for 2 days, and I kept on using it. I set it up, and I started using that bitch. I be throwing my darts like, ah! and then I'm just listening to mute. I'm listening to K-pop. I'm going through school right now. Man. I be ignoring Splatoon because that game gives me dread every time I pick up the controller. I be looking at my horoscope. That nobody want to hear about. I be doing meditating because sometimes I just break out in a psychotic rage. I'm like the Hulk, like, argh! Except I'm not green. I'm brown. I'm like the brown Hulk. I'm the poopy Hulk. They should call me the poopy Hulk now.
Man.
And then I'm just doing my own thing. This is my podcast. This is not the TZS Podcast anymore. This is the Mewtwo Podcast. Yeah! Woo! Yeah! Wait. I think nobody's home right now. Okay. So, yeah. I think those were all the general TZS updates. Now let's move on to the topic that we've been postponing ever since the Great Depression. Pickup versus team culture. I know Twitter's been talking their fucking their empty ass heads, their empty ass takes about team culture. But now you're gonna hear professional opinion from people from a team that's been living since year 3. We're fucking walking now, bitch. We're walking. We've finished crawling. Now we're walking.
I'm glad your school. You obviously are learning something in school. Obviously, so I'm proud of you, Mewtwo. You've learned something in nursing school about children and how they develop.
But I'm about to.
So by us being 3, does that mean that Splatoon has a very high infant mortality rate?
Yes,
no.
It is literally.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what? There's very few teams that make it above 1, let alone 2 or 3. So, honestly, very, very high rates. I mean, it's got to be 95%, something like that, in the first year, maybe first 2 years.
Feels like it, yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
We're past the terrible 2s, folks. We've done it.
Mm-hmm. We are coming up
time
on
for the terrible 3s.
We're already in it. We're already in that.
Already,
for the last few months now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we're coming up on 3.5 years as well currently. So
yeah, man, it's already
there. It's awesome. And then for those who don't know, for people like Kraken, Mewtwo, and Pork, which I think are the main 2 that I'm thinking about, those 2 have been playing since together as a team for a longer time, back in S2. Shout out Steven Sigma.
Well, I mean, TZS existed since S2, to be fair.
Yeah.
We existed almost a full year, or 10 months before S3 came out. We existed as a team, and then, but yeah, me, Pork, and Moo played on a team all the way back in pre-COVID, in the before times. When Mewtwo was still a child, a minor.
Oh yeah,
man.
Bro was not listening. He was not listening. He was not listening 1 minute.
All I heard was that Pepe was thinking about me. And you know what? Valentine's Day is coming up, and I am a bit lonely, so...
Pepe
No,
run.
no.
Guys,
Hell no.
I think we need to focus on the topic at hand here, and that's pickup versus team culture. So
All right.
I guess I will start with my take. I'll start with my take. Okay.
Okay,
I'll start with
okay.
my take. That way I could just
Let's
leave
hear it.
after. All right. So my take is that obviously I think pickups are fine for like one-off tournaments, but in the long term, it will only just hurt the community, especially if these people keep changing up their goddamn names every single tournament and their team names every single goddamn tournament. But it's like, oh wait, that's actually so and so player. Then why don't they identify themselves as so and so player? You know, like I hate seeing aliases on tournament broadcasts. But like if you want to use like a team tag, throw on the damn team tag. That's cool. But like don't change your name to something completely different. And here's another thing. What was it gonna say? I understand why there aren't a lot of teams because really there's not much to work towards. There's no like Nintendo event because we all know how that went.
Well, we just had one.
Well, there's no
Yeah.
like Nintendo championships because you know how that went.
Oh my God.
And
Ugh.
you know, there's like the send out queue invitational, but really that doesn't really incentivize teams. It's more or less a pickup that you play with for a few weeks and get the high power, and then you just kind of do the tournament, and then after you just find 3 other random top level players to play with, and then the cycle goes on. So really, I understand why there's a lot of pickups. And, you know, I appreciate the amount of tournaments that's popping up. And obviously this can be, you know, another topic for another time. But the tournament oversaturation of the Splatoon 3 scene is actively hurting it, because why the fuck are there 3 tournaments that I could join on a Friday night? And why are there 4 tournaments I could join at the same time on a Saturday night? Like, it don't make it no damn sense! And you know what? I'm gonna pass it off to David because he's muted right now. I'm gonna pass it off to the mute guy. Okay? Or actually, I'm gonna pass it off to Pepe. I'm gonna pass it off to Pepe. I realized what I just said. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna pass it off to Pepe because he's been
Bro,
grinding this
I don't even know where we're currently at. I'm gonna be so for
It's
real.
okay. I'm
I'm like still drowsy.
Poor David.
Pass it off to Pepe and Kraken because I know these are the 2 most hardworking men, 2 of the most hardworking men in the Splatoon community. So I'm gonna pass it off to them. They obviously know a lot more about the current Splatoon scene than I do. Guys, what do you think? Do you think I'm on like the right track, or is there any other components that
Did we have any like further structure to this other than YouTube blasted an opinion and like us trying to make sense of it?
I think
Honestly,
Moo threw
his
all the
opinions-
structure out the window.
And say honestly though, his thoughts weren't bad though. Like I'll give
We
you.
need
I've
to work
been-
on
I've
being
been
slightly more
agreeing.
concise. Like I think that's the main thing. Because
You know,
like
we're on air
I
right
think we
now.
could have cut out about half of what you said and still made
Yeah.
the same thought.
We're on air right now, David. We're live on air. Are you blasting?
But like
me
we're
live
not like
on-
trying to like fill like you know.
Do you want to fight, David? Are you? You want to square up? You want to square up there?
Just put out your hand, David. Just put out your hand.
I'm taking up with this bitch.
Other side.
Just one hand. Just one hand, dude.
Oh shit! My head. Oh my god. Oh hell no! I'm blind. Oh no! How do I?
This is why we bring Mewtwo in for comedic humor.
Oh god! Someone take over! Someone take over, please! Someone take over!
Chad, why'd you hurt him like that?
Okay, so as Mew is trying to recompose himself, I also agree on Mewtwo's points. On like pretty much like agree to what he just said. That there's been like a lot of times where I've seen the same people play, and the whole thing about the aliases changing names, like while it could be like funny haha like here and there, I do kind of just like think what really improves the community as a whole is just like learning and like knowing what people play, and it for the whole pickup thing, like yes, like it's like for me, like it's fine, but truly, like I truly feel like teams is just exponentially better in the cases that like we are learning storylines that we get to see like what happens when the same team goes against the same team in the different tournaments and see how different like they go against that same team. Like, are they? Do we see improvement? Do we see like perhaps the same kind of storylines that happen, or will the storyline be stagnant or different? And that's truly like what I feel like what this community needs is just stable teams that like continuously play together and make that a brand. That's something that I hear so many people talk about within a community like this. Branding yourself, and especially like with the team, just helps out so much to just understand people's like even goals and like what they're going for. So and that's just like overall just makes everything like very interesting to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think honing on that in particular, the branding thing right now, because obviously Mewtwo threw a lot at us, a lot of different things we could. I think we have to delve into a little bit right now. You know, cut it into pieces. I think delving into that right now is a big thing, which is kind of like what are which is basically like the consequences of having teams exist versus all these pickups existing. As kind of what I'm gonna kind of getting out right now is we're kind of honing in on. And yeah, I mean, having branding is huge. You know, we just don't have that right now, especially in a lot of like higher levels right now. You have a lot of just pickups happening. And I think pickups should be a part of your diet. To be clear, it's not a, hey, you should never ever have it do a pickup. As a person who actively does pickups all the time, it is good to have that as good supplemental and additional to a team. You know, if your team's busy like this, you know, our team busy all the time. Let's be real. We all have lives. So some, you know, hey, go through a pickup real quick. Or with like Pepe's case, Pepe's doing a lot of land. So, you know, pickups for land, just because, you know, that's very difficult to necessarily get 4 from a team to every land that you're going to, especially when you're going to 77 lands like Pepe is.
Let's try.
But like still having that branding right now, being able to be recognizable both as a player and as teams, as groups, I think right now is really, really lacking. And so like I think that, as you kind of were talking about, Pepe, something really, really critical that I would love to see worked on.
I completely agree.
Don't know if anyone wants to jump in more on that kind of topic, or we want to go to something different. Or
for sure though, like you look at the I'm just going to say, for lack of better terms, golden era of teams in the Splatoon scene. When you first think about it, at least to my mind, I go to Deep Blues, Team Olive, Kraken Paradise. Those teams that have shown their own skill and create rivalries with each other. We haven't really had that because those players at the top don't want to push anything together as a team, and especially with a lot of the aliasing going on, and even some content creators trying to hide their identity, changing their name as often as the game allows them to, even in just like when they stream scrims, they use an alias to try to hide themselves as much as they can. It doesn't help the growth of the game because we wouldn't know who you really are.
And I will say, we talk a lot about, we've mentioned high level a lot thus far, but to be clear, we're specifying because it's easier to talk about high level with less people. But and it's I think a little bit more obvious in high level because most people know at least some of the players there. But to be clear, it does trickle down, mid-level and low level. So I want to be clear that it isn't just high level that's a problem. It's a very Splatoon wide thing, at least in my opinion. So, I don't want to say like, hey, we're just picking on you high level today. Like, no, this is not just a high level discussion. I think just using them is easier because they're more obvious, both as you see them a lot in, these kind of pickups in different events like SOS or paddling pool, whatever else existing there. And so you see these players a lot on stream just because they get high, they do well. And they're more recognizable. But as we talked about, sometimes you can struggle to find out who they are. That's kind of what we're showing up.
And like the only really top level teams right now, like I agree with chat here. For North America, you can only really think of Moonlight. Starburst really hasn't done anything. FT Win is whatever the hell they want to be doing
whenever they want to show up. Yeah.
Like, what do you want? Eternal Happiness or whatever team name they went with at Riptide this past year.
That's a mix between mostly Starburst and FT Win. But that was a LAN, so and LANs I think have the biggest excuse, if you're gonna do a pickup, and especially like that's a whole different bugger. And so like LAN, I give a lot of like you're fine, like there's less of an issue with that because it's LAN. It's a lot of, especially if you're going to be flying out, it's a lot of money you're putting down, and so there's just not an option for a lot of people. So like,
but it's like a mixture of a couple teams. Like, I mean, at least make the effort to like merge brands or something, as opposed to like, no one's going to remember like these team names that won, years from now. Like, 2022, who still remembers Attack of the Sasquatch that won? Like, nobody. Like, I do, because, that was like, did we end up playing it? I don't even remember. No, I don't think we ever did. I think we lost to the second and third place teams. But I know Pepe and I were just talking about it, so that's the only reason why I remember.
Yeah, I ran the event and I couldn't have told you the name of them. Okay, and
exactly.
was there. to be fair, I don't think I could. I'm really bad at remembering names, so
all I remember was on that squad because there was the whole like, who the hell are these people? And then they showed up, and you're like, oh, it's you all. You all are the idiots that showed up with this name and these unrecognizable tags, with the exception of I forget which player it was.
And that's a very good point. Just showing that it goes further back than just right now. This has been a problem for quite a while. And I mean, that, I will be honest, we underseeded that team because we did not find out who the players were. Fully. We could not find a full roster. We knew they were good because like the other players we knew were like, well, we know this is not like someone sneaking in that shouldn't be here, that the best of our ability. So like we have no reason to like ban them. But like we aren't 100% sure of this identity. And so we're gonna seed them. I think we seeded them officially like third or fourth. And but once we knew their full roster, we went, oh, that was our obvious number one seed. We mucked this up. Like the moment we knew the full roster. But that's a fantastic example of branding not existing that ended up affecting things and potentially hurt potential storylines, potentially seeding, obviously hurt seeding, which seeding to an extent matters only so much. They were still top 4, so it mattered very little. It changed very little. But it did change things. They would have faced they would have had a slightly different path if things would have been seeded properly, because we would have known them. So I think that's a very good point. You brought that up, and I'll just throw that out there as some behind the scenes knowledge of how Riptide that year went.
Oh man,
that just because of that existing.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna agree with David here, because like I feel like there's this kind of excitement you get like going into LANs, and I am like with the idea that like, if you're going to be a pickup, at least make some kind of like fun team fusion with the names, because like the moment like, oh, like here's this team that you've been knowing online for a long time, and you're going into this in-person event, you'll see that team be like, wait a minute, like that's them. So there's this kind of like untold thrill and just excitement that you get from knowing that this is the team that you've been watching online, and now they're like right next to you in person. Like they're like literally in close proximity, and I feel like just that alone is something that feels pretty exciting. And again, like if those teams have like the storylines that come across. That's just something that people will see that and be like, I want to keep going to this. If I get to meet those people, if I get to see how they even play, like even to see in their POV, like how do they exactly play in person? Like to me, like that feels pretty cool to have that opportunity.
Yeah,
I agree.
and to continue off that a bit as well. I like there's even teams that have 3 members and then just get a +1 and change their whole entire team name.
Please,
like no matter who that +1 is, it could be 3 exactly the same members, and then a +1, and they change their team name for each different +1 that they have. And even when they go back to that original person, they change their team name again.
Yeah. I mean, what we've been doing, we talked about the pickups we were doing where we had Ichi recently. Our name was TZS plus Ichi.
Yeah.
I think we did TZS plus Stormy the week before, because funny enough, we had Ichi and Stormy back-to-back weeks. We did PSU plus me, because we ended up getting all PSU subs, and it was like, didn't make sense to be TZS anymore. But like, that makes it very obvious, hey, not only are you mostly still the same team, but at the same time, you can at least say, hey, we recognize that we are in a slightly different, we have a sub, we might play worse or differently. Because that's what I think some people's concern is. They don't want to run the same name. And then it's like, oh, we had no synergy and we shit the bed. It happens, right? Even if all the players are good, if you just don't have the synergy, sometimes you just shit the bed worse than you should. Even if it's not like a horrendous thing, you feel like you should win, but you get third or whatever, Yeah. So it's not necessarily you have to even play awful, but like, even just something as simple as that, or a play on your name, just something, make it obvious it's not like, you can make it obvious it's not you have a sub involved or not your full roster, without like fully, oh yeah, we're going to be a random group of folks. As you were kind of pointing out with just 3 plus 1.
Yeah, and to go along with what chat said as well, Max Light, you could get a general idea on what that is going to be with Moonlight plus Max.
Yeah, that's a fantastic name right there. That was a really good job.
It's a really good name. Yeah,
I agree.
I mean, even if you don't obviously get it, if you pop up that roster, you go, "Oh, now I get it." Right? That's not as painting it as easy as TZS plus Ichi or whatever, that paints it, hey, enough that, hey, we're not quite Moonlight, we have a sub, but it's a fantastic play. That's very good. That's one of the more recent good names that I know of in the situation.
Yeah, and then real quick, I do want to give a shout out to this team in particular. In the current recent times, the Booyah Bay that is happening on March 1st. So this upcoming month, there's a team, Healthy Diet for Food Groups. You know them. They're great, amazing team. Their 3 members are coming in with Fusion as their +1, and their team name is called Healthy Diet Fused Group. So again, like that's exactly
Big
what
brain.
we like. Just amazing, like actually amazing.
Such a good brand. Yeah, that's such a good call there. Like, I love it. Like, teams need to do that more often. Like that gets me excited, because I'm like you guys said, like it's so clear like who this is, plus the adjustments that they have made, and that they put thought into keeping the brand consistent, but really allowing that +1 to take ownership of the brand in some way. Like those are the ones that are just so like big brained that make me happy to see, because it's like, okay, now I know who I'm like possibly rooting for. Like, it makes me want to root for them more. Like, like hearing that alone, like for like I'm already like, okay, this is gonna be a fun team to watch, and if it weren't for other people playing, I would probably be rooting for them.
I will throw out there too. I think Healthy Diet Food Group is one of the best branded teams right now in comp. I want to shoot them a big shout out. As much as it's a little annoying because I don't know, like they all have a bunch of food names now for the meme.
I was gonna say they change your individual names, which is a little frustrating, but
that's what I was getting at. Like now I don't know who they are, but at the same time, if you're gonna change your name, for you're doing it into the brand, so that one I give a pass on. However, I wish like they would put like on like Sendu like their old name, so I don't have to like search for it, because I like this couple times I'm like, I have no idea who they used to be. I'll be you know, I've learned a couple of them just from whatever, you know, or I have in my friends list and they have their old name along with their new name, and it's like, oh, okay, I know who that is now. But like, I'm gonna be real, I know like 2 of their old names, if that, maybe 1. But at the same time, so like I would love that on like Sendu as like a TO. If they put that on like Sendu, like yeah, I used to be. I can't think of the name right now of the person that I know. It's completely gone. But still, you're just in parentheses. Hey, that was my old name. Hey, that was my old it. And then at least if you're gonna do a funny like that, or you're digging into the branding, so like super cool. At least now everybody can go, okay, yeah, we know this, and especially as a TO side, we're not like, who's Walnut? Like,
Which is Blob.
Yeah.
Blob's there. It is. Yeah, that's the only one that I know.
There you go.
Yes.
Honestly, like, and I understand that this can be problematic for some folks, but I do wish that Sendu would have like a historical like names feature of like, hey, here's who this person used to be. I mean, I get that in some cases there could be problems in terms of people wanting to completely shed an identity because, you know, they might have some negative connotations associated with it, or, you know, it's part of a complete identity change that they may be going through, whatever. But I do think that is still important at some capacity, so I don't know where that line would be drawn, but I do think that Sendu can do a lot of good here, especially for TOs, even if it's like a, hey, you know, just this is like a TO only view. You could see all of the old historical information, whatever. Like, I know that IPL has a way to kind of extract that info to the best of their ability. Like, you know, let's take that and bring that over to Sendu. And, you know, even if it's like, hey, you know, if you have to prove that you're like the head of an organization to access this information, like just give it to us in some capacity, because I do think that there's a way that we can utilize. Well, I assume that's, you know, hopefully the way that he stores his data. I don't know. Maybe there's a way to save some of those historics, but I'm not a web designer, so I can't say.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's done. You talked about the IPL stuff, that without saying too much, but obviously plenty of sites store that information and makes it you're able to snag that sort of thing through API. So like, that's not a crazy thing to ask, because that exists on other sites. Yeah. I don't know with Sendu, because I have not messed with Sendu from the TO side, or any of the tools built with the API of Sendu's site.
I'd say Sendu is open source, right?
I think so.
I believe there is a GitHub page at the bottom. Let me just pull up the page. It's right here. Yep, there's a GitHub for Source Hub. It's literally there next to right at the top of the the bottom of the page. Yeah, the top of the bottom of the page. Weird to say. The bottom section after all the content. It's there with their Discord and Patreon.
Yeah. So I think we could all agree that the Just Dance 2025 song list is appealing to some people, but not appealing to others. In that pickups are like fine in some cases, but at least be recognizable and have recognizable names, and don't try and change your name to Booty Destroyer 1500 before a major tournament starts, because you think you want to be funny, but in reality, I'm the Booty Destroyer. And great discussion, guys. I really agree with a lot of your comments, and I think that in order for the game to get more brand recognition, we need to start having more recognizable people, and I think that it really starts at the top, and then the mid and the low level will see these people and be like, I wanna be recognizable too, and stick to their name and stick to a team, and get their name out there, because we all know that the mid and the lower levels have no brain, and they simply copy of what the top level is doing, kind of like how the top level copies Japan, and how Japan copies me, because in the end, I am the one who stands alone. It's me, the Booty Destroyer.
He's peeking his mic.
It's crazy.
Somehow that like kind of made sense.
Yeah.
The Booty Destroyer stands alone at top. Of
Mewtwo is sprinkling actual bits to this
Yeah,
along with
no.
the shenanigans, and it's weird. There's like substance in there. You're like gotta like dive in and get the substance
It's
before
like-
the trash falls on top. Like
The English teachers are salivating at this right now. Like,
Yeah.
they ready to host their next Socratic seminar to break down this monologue.
Very ready to start writing fan fiction, because that is my calling. Anyway,
will-
So who
I-
wants to try to respond to that?
all right, I'll respond to my own thing. Sorry,
No,
Kraken.
we're good.
Sorry, Kraken. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for.
nah, I was gonna
interrupting you,
change
but-
it. I was gonna get us out of this hole.
I'm
But go
I'm
ahead.
gonna change the topic. I'm
Dig
gonna
us
change
into the hole
topic.
further.
Okay, I'm gonna change the topic now, guys. You know, I kind of started speaking about it. I know this isn't listed in the topic section, but I really think that this whole pickup versus team debate could, you know, we really compressed it, put into like a whole 30-minute epilogue.
I don't think
because,
I think there's some things we could still
I
talk
don't think
about.
we're done.
I don't think we're done.
You changing the
think we're
topic is probably
what?
not the right
you know
time.
what? Let me continue speaking. I think that if we get more recognizable brand teams, we could. I still don't think we're gonna get any sponsors anytime soon from like the, you know, some big orgs, because Splatoon simply isn't profitable. And you know, sponsors kind of help grow the scene and obviously developer support, but we all know how that went.
Well, to be fair, also you have to remember the game now has pretty much it has not gotten any real update, and the dev team is now also thrown out pretty much as well that they're not going to give anything major likely. So I think a lot of people, I think that would also deter sponsorships, because we had some when Splatoon 3 came out. You know, we had a good
So
a
we're
few
just-
number that came out when Splatoon
We're just gonna
3
wait
was new.
Splatoon 4, where the game is fresh, people start playing the game, and then there's just one balance patch that makes everyone hate the game, and then they fix the balance packs and introduce something that makes people hate the game again, and then they just kind of lightly tap that.
You,
They
you mean
create another
Splatoon 2?
Arrgh.
I don't know what's going on with
That's-
your camera. Do you have a filter on me? You know what? I said it in chat. Mew, do you have a filter on?
I think
His
it's the spirits.
His camera is trying too
your
hard.
neck is like like a filter. You know, like a filter snaps on and like changes you slightly. It's like wobbling. I don't know if it's just my side, like the projection I'm looking at, or if it's genuinely it. Like your neck is like vibrating from my side.
I think it's the spirits. I think they're not happy with me. After what I said.
I would
His
believe
camera's
I
that.
just
trying
wanna-
so hard.
I guess I could just start repenting now, since we're hopping off the topic. So guys, if you want to join me in a quick prayer, you guys want to hold my hand, I'll start the prayer.
We're not.
And the Holy
Doing,
like,
Father,
We're
We're
Son,
not
Hail-
holding hands.
No.
Hail Mary, or
Yeah,
like
yeah,
who art
Our Father.
in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth.
we're just
as
gonna let him
it is
keep
in
going.
heaven.
I don't
Give
know
us
what.
this day our
Yeah.
daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. But deliver us not from evil. Amen.
Mewtwo, you're
I think you forgot a line,
you got a
actually.
hand to offer.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Ruffles
y'all,
wants
I'm
to hold
sorry.
your hand while you do the prayer.
I haven't gone to church in like a few years. All right. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou amongst women.
Oh
and
my
blessed
god.
is Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour
Where's
of
the
our
server
death.
mute?
Amen.
Okay, bringing us back to the topic here.
Yeah.
I think we've bring us.
I don't want to die on a Wednesday.
Thank you.
Good
Vapor.
call. Good call.
So bringing us back to the.
Bless you, Mew. Bless you.
Damn, I feel like we're watching like
Oh my god.
Oh god! Like, what are we watching? Like The Nun, or like what are some of the other great hits?
He's getting.
Bro,
Oh my god. He's getting possessed over there.
Okay, this might be.
what in The Conjuring?
Anywho.
Oh my god.
wanted to say that I love you.
Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Alright.
Oh.
Anywho, for us in the light, uh, so back, I think we've mostly right now highlighted the downsides of pickups and kind of the upsides of teams. I think we probably should do the inverse a little bit, because to be a little bit fair, because there's downsides to teams and there is upsides to pickup. I think we talked a little bit about the upsides to pickup. At least I think I at least mentioned it a little bit of that. So I think that's probably the direction we should go first. Like, we get a little bit, not the team, teams, they're hard to put together. You got to find folks that are like you in a lot of ways. The best teams anyways are people with similar goals and personality. I shouldn't say that's personalities, but like meshing personalities and everything. People you get along with, people that you're willing to go on a podcast with together and talk. That's a hang out with outside of just even the team stat, is the best thing you can get. This Mewtwo is breaking my brain, don't mind me. But that can be really difficult to do, and it can take a lot of tries. I think all of us have been on multiple teams, and some of them I'm sure have been short-lived.
Yeah.
With all 3 official teams I've been on, and one of those is blue.
Yeah, no, Vapor's actually had some very long-term teams.
I think Vapor's is the exception.
I think I'm the exception to this. I've only been on 3 teams total. My first team lasted about 2 years. Now with TZS and blue, like.
Yeah, I mean, even
shout out. Good.
I say, and I probably have one of the better records here, or one of the better records in the community, and my record still isn't as good as yours in terms of that department. Really, really good.
I'd say probably same, because like realistically, like I really only played with 3 teams. Obviously, the UCSD timeline's like a little hazy, but I guess we'll say 4 teams. I'll separate Triton Splatoon and UCSD Esports, because I do think that those are 2 fairly distinct identities. But yeah, shout out to Wild Salmon, my first Splatoon team that lasted. I think it actually lasted like a solid 6 months. Which wasn't bad. None of them played a game anymore, as far as I'm aware. They all quit years ago, so I am by far the last member of that team. That for lack of a better term, that team sucked.
Same with my older team. No one really plays the game anymore. Maybe one person still plays it in a casual setting, but not competitive at all. I'm the only remaining competitor from that team.
I can also relate to you guys with that. For me, I've been to also kind of 3-ish teams, officially 2, but
Damn, you all have way less
for me, shout outs to Kanai Plus, and same kind of story where most of the teammates in Kanai Plus, which on mine it was a great time, honestly. I wouldn't say that it sucked at all. No, but we started off at Div 2, and it was I was honestly surprised that we did. But yeah, no, and most of those teams are my teammates just are no longer play Splatoon. In fact, I want to give a shout out to Acidity. Literally, this man, he came back on Twitter at some random day, right? And I think it was like a time where some Splatoon drama was happening, right? And so he came back and he literally posted a picture of him with like being jacked as all hell, like man, and then it was with like some kind of like comment saying like, "This is what happens when you quit Splatoon." I'm like, bro, I feel kind of inspired. I'm not gonna lie, because he just looks like a completely different person. He looks healthy as all heck, and he just looks so buff. Like, damn. So props to him. And yeah, like it's just crazy, just how I guess the timeline goes when you don't commit yourself to Splatoon. A different timeline can happen, you know. It's
Well, you
interesting
can
to think about.
balance Splatoon and such too.
Oh,
The
yes,
problem
yes.
is balancing that. Usually, you have to give up one or the other. You know, you can't go to the peak of Splatoon and also be having a bunch of shit going on in your life. Like, and you know, do things like that. Work out as probably as much as they did and things like that. But you can find a really decent balance of all of those things. There's plenty of people that have. When it's those that when Splatoon is like your entire life, and then you step away, you can realize that's where it's like crazy. Like we can see the differences like that. And I'm guessing that's probably what was happening. Is Splatoon was a lot of their life. But there's plenty of people that are able to. You can keep this as a hobby, even a competitive hobby, but still have school or work and a life. It's difficult. It's busy life, but it's possible.
Tell me about it.
To do, and there's plenty of examples of that, and there's also plenty of there was one recently too that I saw a very similar story there, Pepe, where someone just recently was like, yeah, you should quit Splatoon because I did this is my life. It's like, well, it's because you probably were like way too into it. You weren't putting in an hour or so a day, a little bit of practice. You were putting in hours and hours. It was consuming you. And so that's some of it too, is like some people you got to find that balance a little bit. And so some people stepping away from Splatoon is the answer to find that balance. Just Splatoon out of it and then find the balance with other things, even if you add like that workout. So I'm glad for him. No means I'm for those people that are able. If you have to quit Splatoon or whatever hobby it is because it's too much, you're too much into it and it's actually hurting you. Sometimes that's the right play. And so I'm very glad for them though that they found happiness, even if it's not with Splatoon or whatever else.
I just want to hop in because this is a topic I actually want to talk about semi-seriously. So, I think I'm not really on the same path as Acidity. Like they find their happiness, whether it be out of Splatoon, getting those motherfucking gains. Because I saw that picture too. That motherfucker was buff. He was jacked. Oh my god. Sorry, I could talk about big oily men all day.
He likes men. Mewtwo likes men. But just want to make that very clear.
Finding that happiness outside of Splatoon was probably one of the best things I ever felt, because I have like a friend group. I'm getting adopted into another friend group. I'm doing semi well on my studies. I feel great. I've been starting to hit the gym sometimes.
Play darts.
When I was playing, and play darts. And
you play
even
darts?
if I don't really play Splatoon,
He's at 2 days of darts, David. 2 days.
2 days of darts.
Even though I don't really, because I don't enjoy playing Splatoon. I'm just gonna I keep saying it. I'm gonna keep saying it. I do not enjoy playing Splatoon. It felt like a chore. But I still enjoy talking to my team because these people are people I fuck with, people I vibe with outside of the game. Even outside of the game, I still talk to them. And I made a lot of great friends through Splatoon. One's even DMing me right now. Shout out to you. You're not watching the stream because they're doing homework, but I just want to let them know. But it definitely is possible, to also just balance Splatoon with your life. And don't let Splatoon consume what you do 24/7. Because I feel like Splatoon should really just be at a max, just be a hobby. It's not something you can invest too long time. You're not going to become a professional Nintendo esport. Who the fuck? Oh my god! I was about to show my screen, bro. But I realized I had your number on it. But like I said, man,
Yeah, thanks. Please don't dox my phone number.
finding that happiness, if you don't enjoy playing the game, I'd highly suggest just picking up a hobby. It doesn't need to be an expensive hobby. It could be something simple like cooking or buying a $20 dartboard from Walmart and just throwing darts at it, learning how to play the game, learning how to have a technique. Your hobby doesn't need to be expensive for you to enjoy it, And obviously, you can also hit the gym. I know my university, as long as you're enrolled and you have like a little card, little school card, you could get in for free. And I know that it's a great time to hang out in between classes. You also get to know people. You get to go with your friend group. But that happiness, it's not something you'll find overnight. You gotta get into that shit. But when you find it, whether it be, and also Splatoon was a great game. I started playing that shit in S2, and that was like, I love getting on. I love playing, with Kraken and with Bork and all that shit. But now it's like, I'm an adult. I have adult responsibilities, but that doesn't stop me from playing, from picking up the sticks to be like a sub. Even if the drive isn't there, my love for my friends is enough for me to get on this stupid ass game. So you know what? The happiness, you gotta find your own happiness, bro. You gotta find it by yourself. You can't have someone tell you how to be happy.
And so turning this back to the pickup versus team thing, find those people that you're willing to do that. Maybe you don't see TZS playing all the time. Let's be real. Or if we do, it's like we're finding plus ones more recently to play a little bit more. But like that, we have a group of 7 because we know how busy we are. I will admit, I'm very much big on running like 4 or 5 on a team. This is the first team I really am big that I'm okay with really having more than that because we're so busy. But at the same time, we like to do things like the podcast and things like that. So that's one of the advice I can get on people forming teams. You know what? You don't have a lot of time. Maybe go for a bigger roster and just kind of have some fun with it. And you'll be able to find those people you really enjoy. If you're doing a lot of pickups with the same people, maybe just, and you're really enjoying those people, maybe just make it a team.
Exactly. Make it official.
I have several, opinions based off what you had said. So, all right, what?
I said, okay, we'll take it back a little bit. I was trying to take it back to the topic, but understandable.
Yes. So one before I forget, that is honestly a pro of pickup culture is like, if you're actually just genuinely like not super happy with, the game and whatever, like it's so low commitment to just jump into a pickup and just, hey, I just have an itch that I need to scratch. Let's just play the game. One tournament. It's just one tournament. Obviously that's like a gateway drug. But if you end up, just snoring a little bit too much, then yes, you should start looking towards a team probably. But I think for a lot of people that might be in Mew's shoes, a pickup could definitely be the answer to a lot of what you are hoping to get out of the game, and that's perfectly okay. Couple of other quick side things. One, why do we all just collectively get quiet and like every time Mew speaks, like we all just like everyone like I don't know why we all just get very very quiet, knowing that this is going to be a Mewtwo monologue. But I will say this is the best monologue that Mewtwo has given on the podcast so far. So I will, Mew, I absolutely commend you for that because that was very very well said. Because
face right now.
We're mentally having to prepare ourselves because we don't know what direction Mewtwo's gonna go. That's why we get quiet. We're like, what do we? It's like
everyone like hovering like around like the server button just in case.
We're like that cat like ready to run. Like, what are we gonna do? But it's just we're just have a poker face on, just like. All right, Mewtwo. When are we gonna have to hit the server mute button? When am I gonna have to kill the camera?
It definitely was the best monologue that Mew has gone on. Because I couldn't agree more, and I do think that is a separate topic that we could very much go into at some point. Because everybody's got different priorities, different states in life and whatever. Like some people really do need this game and this community to survive and thrive. Other people are see this more as like a pit stop in their whole way of life. So it's just a matter of what you want to get out of this game and this community. And like when we had our team meeting, like the one thing I said, like you're not guaranteed tomorrow. And as much as I love this game, there's other things that I also need to prioritize. Like such as going to Japan. So it's all that to kind of say, like, yeah, no, like Mewtwo, very well said. And I think that's an important part of, establishing a team, is making sure that you have folks that are aligned in those goals and wants, and is willing to accommodate everybody's like personal goals and what they're hoping to get out of, the game in its current state and where their current state is, et cetera, et cetera. But again, pickups, low commitment. You don't necessarily need if you vibe with a couple of people here and there, you want to kind of mix match and all that stuff. Then and like that's fine. So, but that's that is like one of the biggest pros, is that I think folks just don't want to commit, and in many cases that is okay, despite it being frustrating.
Yeah, and you know what? After I got taken by the spirits, I came back a changed man. And you know what? That like you said, that's obviously a topic that we could there's always we always bring up a lot of topics that we could talk about later on the CTA podcast when we're talking about the current topic. Yeah, wait, the current topic. Oh yeah, that's the current. Yeah. Okay, so. Yeah, a lot of people use Splatoon as a
yes.
way like escapism. Maybe that's the only solace they have. So, I'm not. If that's you, then yeah, finding a pickup, finding some people that you vibe with, finding the vibes, making. You always want to make sure the vibes are there. It doesn't matter if it's like, if you end up being like a low ink eligible team and you're like entering tournaments and getting whopped, like kicked around by the mid and high level teams. As long as you're having fun and as long as you vibe with the people in your team and as long as the vibes are positive, then sky's the limit. Or well, I mean, not really. Everyone has a ceiling, and some people reach their ceiling faster than others. And, some people have a fucking ceiling of a Hall of Famer. But you never know. All I do know is that as long as you're enjoying yourself, pleasuring yourself, you're gonna go a lot farther than if the vibes were really bad and everyone was tilting and blaming each other and yelling and screaming and pissing and shitting and farting. That's my takeaway, though.
And to that point, like it doesn't really matter what level you are. Like, look at a team like Los Inklings. They've been around for years. And probably one of, if not the oldest team in this community that has sustained themselves for so long. That, like, yeah, they are probably just getting around to that quote unquote mid-ish level area, but they've been the teams that's played in low level for a long time. They've grown together and still kept, with some roster changes, a similar roster throughout their entire lifespan.
They have two core players that have been there the whole time. Though the players that have been there now, especially Slug, has been there for quite a while. But Matthew, usually equal sign, and Teresa have been there. To just those two, there's been a lot of changes outside of those two over the years. But Slug has been there now for like 3, probably is almost as long, right around the same length as TZS, I believe. Amy's more recent, but yeah, they've had the two core roster players since day one.
Yeah, and sorry, Vapor, but I think Craig, and that's a great point. Los is a great point. A team that's been around for a while, and another team I like to point out is Helios. They've been around as long as we have. TZS has been around, but they haven't disbanded. They're not dead. I mean, they're kind of dead, but they're still around sometimes in the scene. And I think it really just shows how longevity is a really cool thing in the Splatoon community, because you have players that have been playing competitively since S1, but they really haven't been playing on the same team, which is like cool and all, but like I feel like you get extra brownie points if you've been with the same homies throughout like all those years. But obviously life does take your homies away. They take them towards greater things than some fucking NFT on a website. But
it's funny,
man.
Slightly deviating back, you guys are all talking about everybody on your old teams are gone. I still have 2 people. 2 out of 5 are still around for me. Got Blue and Ice. Y'all are still around. Shout outs to you all for my first team. Everybody else is dipped, but couple I still talk to a good chunk of them, and using that as a lesson, a little bit of my history is early on. It's something I hadn't learned. That you're talking S1. I played competitive. I'm older than all these folks in the competitive. Y'all are S2 babies. Aren't you, I believe.
True, that's true. Yeah.
Me as an S1 baby. What I learned early in S2 after going through S1, find the people that you enjoy playing with. You're gonna have a lot better time. I was lucky with my first team. I really, honestly, none of my teams I've had really. My first one in S2 would be the only one I would say was iffy on that. But like the first team, I still would talk to any of them in a moment. Second team would too, but all of them have left Splatoon. But my third team still talk to a bunch of them today. We don't play competitively, or most of them don't play competitively anymore, but I still talk to them because it's good. But my fourth team, which was early in S2, that one we didn't mesh together as well. That one was more about I just want to go further, and it didn't work out because of that. And then now I learned to focus on that. Like, hey, let's find the people we enjoy. And the best lesson, genuinely the best lesson I can give when it comes to team building, find the people you enjoy. That's why I still play with Mewtwo. That's why I still play with Pork. That's why I still talk to Astro. I still talk to these people, and even if like Astro doesn't still play the game anymore, I still will talk to them, and we're on good relations. And that's something I very much enjoy. And obviously TZS is, we've been here for this long. I can't not say I enjoy all of you, because if I didn't, why would I be here for 3 years?
That's true. It's true.
That's a big lesson. And find the people, build the teams, don't build them. Stop being pickups. Find your friends.
Were we supposed to be talking about the pros of pickups right now? Like how did we circle this back right around to how much we are not supporting pickups?
We hate you pickups. I'm just kidding.
Let's see if we go back to the start of TZS.
Pickups to find those friends.
But let's go back to the start of TZS, because I just left my previous team at that time. David just graduated UCSD not long prior, like less than a year prior.
Yeah.
Kraken wasn't on an official roster, and was doing a lot of in quite a while. He was constant stuff for Los at the time, but more on TOing. So it's like, well, we grabbed Brian, who was with David on UCSD trying Splatoon, and we're just like, hey, we all have a similar idea. Let's just try to throw a pickup together and see how things goes out.
Yeah, but I enjoyed playing with you guys so much. Also, for viewers at home, you all were low ink eligible. I had been I had already been D1 at that point. D1, D2 in Ludi. And I'm like, I enjoy playing with these folks. I don't care that they're low ink eligible. I enjoy playing with them. We will bring them up. Of course, I had also been rusty, to be fair. So like I wasn't trying to necessarily jump right back into that anyways. So like it was, but at the same time, it's like, to me that's more important. Even if I hadn't been rusty, I enjoyed gaming with you all. I was like, yes. And then story.
Kraken, that brings up a really great point. I remember when I was my first team I started getting results with. I don't talk to any of them anymore, but I do remember the leader being outed because he was talking to minors.
Jesus.
And
Man, that's unfortunate.
but you know,
don't say it like that.
Yeah.
the people I talk to, obviously you, Pork, Astro, don't really talk to much of the Sigma gang anymore. But I mean, well, besides like Ali, but that's a very sporadic. Whenever we just, but yeah, piggybacking off of what Kraken said for the 50th time, make sure the vibes are there before you make a team. It's okay. You know what? I think pickups are great for finding the vibes, which can eventually lead into a team if everyone is shares the same goal, shares the same mindset. And you know what? It's past my bedtime. I need to wake up at 3:15 tomorrow. So
Damn. You gotta.
my God.
I need to go
For
to the
school?
hospital. Yeah, I need to go to the hospital. I need to leave my house at like 5 a.m.
You working like ER or something? Like what the hell?
It's just med surge, but I just need to get there.
Oh, med surge. Okay, I think those tends to have very early start times.
Yeah.
Context, people. Mewtwo is not going to the hospital because he's
he's not receiving surgery. Like
he works at the hospital.
I'm doing it for my school. I am in the nursing program. If anybody wasn't aware, but yeah. I appreciate being a special guest on here. I might show up next week.
Bro.
Thank you. I'd like to thank Kraken for creating the graphics and making the time to make a 5-man graphic. I think he's been working on that today. Shout out. And yeah, I
thank you, Mewtwo.
Next week, I mean, I will be here for the next podcast, whenever that may be. And I'd like to thank the spirits for abducting me midway through, changing my whole vibe, changing who I am, changing my hair. And yeah, good night everybody. But I know Team Sport will continue talking probably for like another hour, because I know Pepe is probably very tired. David needs to rant to us about his Thailand trip. And yeah, but have a nice night everybody. Peace.
Good night, Mew.
My gosh. On that
Okay,
note,
let me.
animation. There we go.
Oh,
Back to- back to
Oh,
the
you update
classic.
the topics listed. I forgot it's 2 different ones. I didn't update that one. No, well, past trauma's gone now. No more past trauma.
No more past trauma.
If you didn't catch it, I snuck that onto the topics list.
Yeah.
I didn't know how I wanted to word that for a minute. That took way too long.
where are we at? I think that Amuse God, we could like actually try to
format.
Yeah,
Try
have
to
the
reformat
formats to bring us home.
I know earlier he wanted to mention about the negatives for teams and a bit of a pros for the pickups, which I know. So pros for the pickups, so someone has mentioned like how it's low commitment. You just you scratch that itch that you want, and then as for a negative on the teams, I mean, while yes, it is great to play with the people that like you love playing with. If I may say this, like you will be bound to see how those people that you love playing with may experience things to where like, oh, we're going your way. Maybe you're not improving like how you expected it to, and there will be tension. Tension may happen within those teams, and it sucks to just have those kinds of moments where those people that you care about, those people who you call friends, may end up like having to deal with certain tensions. But with that being said, though, knowing how to deal with those tensions can definitely help out those relationships. So it's both good and bad. If you don't know how to deal with those tensions whatsoever, then that's going to be a pretty bad pickle to deal with. But it's part of life, and it's not just for Splatoon, right? I mean, this is just a whole basis of like in real life. Like if you're working on a team, there's communication that needs to be said in order for the team to move forward. So, it is extremely huge on the commitment side of things when you're on the team, and sacrifices could be made. For me personally, like I've definitely sacrificed a lot. Not that I regret. I don't regret anything that I've sacrificed for, like, say, in TZS, because I've absolutely been enjoying like just playing like with you guys. But I'll say though, like in the past, there has been like within my past team, there's been times where like I definitely sacrificed something that I was like kind of like leaning towards. So that's something that I'm lucky to be in TCS, since we're a 7-man roster, and that commitment is not as high as like a solid 4 roster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. And my thought just like blew out the window or something.
Mewtwo came and snatched it.
Literally.
The spirits that stole Mewtwo are stealing your your thoughts.
Yeah, it'll come back to me at some point.
Yeah, and I'm curious, like for you guys, have you had like any kind of like sacrifices? What are that being, TCS or any other team, or how about just like Splatoon as a whole? Because like I know there's commitments, like not just for the team, but for all of us, like here that you see, like we all in some way or another have TO'd a tournament or have been behind the scenes. So there's also that kind of huge commitment. But yeah, I'm curious to hear from your guys' end. Any sacrifices?
I will say, and for the better. By the way, when I say this is for the better, not the worse. For the better, I've sacrificed some family relationships for Splatoon in general. And
Okay,
that's great.
And like yeah, like sure, some people don't want to sacrifice family. Of course, we all grow up differently. We all have different childhood experiences, and for me, Splatoon was one of those things. And it's like, hey, I like this game. If you don't appreciate my love for this game, why should I deal?
fair enough. I mean, and like you said, I think the important thing is that it's a positive change that is directly related to it. Because like obviously don't go and like start cutting out random people in your family for the sake of Splatoon. Like definitely not the case.
Yeah.
But yes,
Uncle Joe, I hate you. Get out
Uncle
of my
Joe,
life.
we need a human sacrifice.
Yeah, but for like further clarification, like there isn't any like bad harm at this point, and we just move on from life from there.
Yeah. No.
Do what you enjoy.
Yeah, I agree.
Chicken quesadillas.
So you're doing chicken quesadillas? What?
Did you sacrifice chicken quesadillas?
Sacrifice for what I love, chicken quesadillas. That was for the PSU gang. Ignore. Sorry.
Oh my
You
God.
gotta
Okay.
not the PSU podcast, the TZS podcast.
Fair enough. But to answer Pepe's question, yeah, I'm sure that I definitely have, because things always conflict, and sometimes you kind of have to make a choice. And I can't think of any specifics at the moment, but like it always feels like, it's a very like messy prioritization task. when you're playing on a team, which is definitely one of the difficulties, because like it goes back to the idea of like commitments. So yeah, it's definitely hard, and you definitely need to make a couple of different sacrifices. Like let's say I guess we could use a very recent example. I wouldn't necessarily call it like a sacrifice per se, but I guess it's within the same vein, of, hey, I chose to ultimately play SoCali instead of, going to Japan when like Allison went. Like I said, ultimately it worked out very, very well. So I don't think that is the right term to use, but to kind of keep it within that same topic, that is something similar. So I sacrificed time to go do something really, really cool, or at least cut that short time a little bit shorter, so that way I could play SoCali with you guys. But that's because that was also very important to me, and I had already committed to you guys about that, because that Japan trip came together very, very last minute.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything that like really, really jumps out at me, like anything major. I've had to make some, hey, could be doing this or that, and instead playing Splatoon, or I've had to not do a tournament or something because of other things in life. But like for me, the anything that I would have sacrificed for Splatoon, for the most part, I would say I would rather have been playing Splatoon anyways. So like, yeah. For me, I'm lucky enough to not have anything like super major, that like, I don't have the built-in stuff like Vapor has, where they lost like family connections or lost vacation. I'm just like, well, could have went to the store or something. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I'm sure there's something that I'm not just pinking in my brain just because it might have been years ago.
Rather go play bowling.
Let's go bowling. Bowling and Splatoon, when I had to do both of those when I was, still in high school. You're talking Splatoon 1 days. Oh my god, I'm old. It was a lot tougher back then for me. Definitely was. Splatoon was the one more sacrificed then, to be fair. But yeah, I think that's a great question though. You have to, there's always a sacrifice you have to make.
Yeah, even if it's coming down to like, hey, would I rather play with my team on this day, or should I go like see a friend and spend a dinner with them? Like sometimes you have to make that choice.
True. Would be getting chicken quesadillas.
Chicken quesadillas will be your dinner.
And I will say this though, like I'll be honest, David. I truly do not remember if you told me this, like that you sacrificed time to, play with us at SoCali.
That's what I'm saying. Like I don't think sacrifice is the right word. So I do want to make that clear.
No, that's fine. Truly, because like let's just say, like on my end, David, like if you were to tell me, like, hey, like if this was like, before SoCali when it happened, if you would have told me like, hey, turns out I have an opportunity to go to Japan, that's like that I'll be able to spend more time, with Allison, and also just enjoy more time in Japan. On my end, I'll be like, yeah, no, like I while I do see SoCali as an important thing, don't get me wrong, having a life opportunity like that, like I will not be against it whatsoever. Like if you were to tell me that, like legitimately, nothing on my end, like I would be mad at you at all. In fact, like I'll be more like, yeah, David, you should go, because that's, if you're already spending the money, to go to Japan. Because like hearing you say that, like now it makes me feel bad. It's like, oh goddamn, like, and it makes me feel even horrible because of our placement, which is second place. But that's a whole other thing. But man,
that's a separate conversation. But like I said, like it was already something that like we had already had that planned, and like I said, the Japan stuff came together like insanely last minute. So that's why like I don't view it, as a way, like as like, and because we were just talking about sacrifice, I was trying to come up with like an example. So
yeah.
So legitimately, like, don't feel bad about that at all, because again, I was not supposed to go on that trip. it's something that I literally committed to it. Like when I messaged you guys, like saying, "Hey, this was an opportunity," like that was like when it had come up of like, "Hey, this is like an actual possibility now." So it like we've already been like planning SoCali for like a month and a half at that point.
Yeah.
It's by definition a sacrifice, but it's not a sacrifice
yes.
you wouldn't if you were in the same situation, you wouldn't make 99 times out of 100.
Mhm.
Kind of thing is what it sounds like.
I guess you could word it that way.
So
It circumstantially it makes sense.
It is a sacrifice by definition, but it's one you were happy to do, and you don't see it as like the negative connotation of sacrifice,
exactly.
like a part, a sacrifice.
My travel hell.
That's a sacrifice you've had to go through. That's for sure.
If we had to talk about sacrifices with travel, look at literally this past Riptide.
Yeah, no,
Vapors and travel hell.
When you told me Vapor, and of course I'm not gonna expose on this, like if you say it, but like the moment you told me like how much you spent travel to go to the Riptide, the past one, like I'm just like the Vapor. Even I would not do that. Like, or I guess maybe, like I don't know. I truly don't know. Like, because what you did there is like, man, Vapor, like huge respects to you for like spending money, and money is like a whole separate thing, but like sacrificing your own money that you could like use for your future, that's a whole thing that like you do sacrifice. And for those that go to lands, like I everyone has their money, like you use it and spend it however you want. And for some people, like I could see that being the case where like I'm just barely like putting in money for me to make it here because I really want to. And to them it may not be a sacrifice, but to others it would be like, I'm barely like trying my best to make it here because I've heard it's so good, and then it just creates a complete domino effect, like I want to continue going more. So is that a sacrifice? Maybe yes, it all depends. You ask, of course.
I think you and Keone are the only person I've told the exact price with how much it was. But for reference, I was supposed to take a carpool to Riptide, and that person ended up having to back out for reasons I'm not going to disclose without their permission.
A very valid reason, nonetheless.
A very valid reason.
Yes.
And so it's like less than a week, and no, not even then. It was probably 2 days until travel day.
Yeah.
And by that point, how can you really get a sub for a LAN? That's what went through my mind. How can you really get a sub for a LAN? It's too late to transfer passes at this point. So one way or another, money's down the drain either way.
So if you want to talk about sacrifice,
like,
that is probably one of the biggest financial sacrifices that you can make for the game and your team, which we all greatly appreciate. But like, I feel so bad. Like, legit, awful. I think we were like just starting to contemplate. Like we I think even at one point we were like, Kraken, you legitimately like the metal chair might actually be real.
I could have gotten us copyright struck on the thing by playing Release the Kraken, Could have done it. We could have done it. We could have worked on that. We could have got the IPL channel's copyright struck. Darn! No! I'm sure Hoenn, if they're listening, are like, this.
And with that, Vapor, at least I hope your sacrifice was worth from the experience that we got, especially on stage. Shout out to the first episode of the TZS Podcast. You should look at that.
Thanks for letting me shower in your room. I guess, but I think that actually remind me, I guess the opportunity cost, one of the costs I have would be just like TOing all the shenanigans I had to deal with. So I get, the hours put into that, and let's say the amount of meals I've missed is a lot.
I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I felt like you sacrificed
but
years.
you know, you still, you know, probably
Bro.
should be a little bit better about it. But so I guess I'd say I didn't sacrifice much. That would be a good one for anywho. But vapor, that's all. That was a lot.
Yeah, I gave you guys an estimate privately on,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's still worth it. Rather be with my team in person.
No, and we appreciate that.
Good
Like, you know, not that we're like keeping score or anything, but like
Oh, of
I do
course.
feel like that like Vapor has made a lot of sacrifices. So
Oh, yeah, no.
you know, so shout out to you because you should not be having to make this many sacrifices at your age, being the youngest member. But
Baby man.
here you are, and you've done a lot.
God, when I'm the youngest member on basically every team I've been on.
Well, that's what happens when you form these teams for 77 years. Yeah, and you start out as the youngest. You can't get older unless you add more members. And if you add members older than you, well, you know,
Yeah.
like Pepe, you can't get younger. Well, that should change here with PSU eventually. As people start to graduate, you'll become the old folk. You're just because you're one of the younger levels in terms of years. So once you know people like Jay and Snow, I think this next semester is gone in December. Yeah, you know that'll be one person young, probably younger than you coming in. You know, you need a little bump up. Just give it a little bit on that one. TZS, you're forever locked into the baby, the fetus of the team.
Yeah, on my older team, I was the second youngest.
See, you weren't the fetus of fetuses.
There you go. Yeah.
I wasn't quite the youngest, but I was still second youngest, and that youngest was brought on like a year into the team's lifespan.
Fair enough.
We've gotten really
Still
off
the
topic
child.
today.
We really did.
Yeah.
I mean,
Or David.
Hey, we're still talking about teams.
I know we're still talking about team because hey, this does very loosely tied to the topic because, like, you know, those are things to consider when talking about team versus pickup. Is that those sacrifices are a little bit more real, but hopefully worth it. And if it's not worth it, then like don't be on the team.
Yeah.
Simple as that. So why don't we take this opportunity to tie it back and potentially start to wrap this up because I am tired.
you should have took the camera to your bed and just like laid down. Just
that is currently occupied.
Like you.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Just sounds like something Mew would do.
Occupied
Mewtwo
by
is
his
the one
suitcase.
occupying his bed.
Oh God, no!
Oh no!
Already?
You would have heard sirens a long time ago. Like, I called the cops if it was Mewtwo.
Mewtwo also would have made sure he was in the camera frame to be real.
Yeah. No, that's for the record, Mewtwo was not in my bedroom. That is very much Mewtwo's bedroom. I would freak out if that was the case, but
Anyone would. Don't you worry, David.
Bro's been at my house one time. That one time was enough.
Last time.
And I've been at his house one time.
That one time was enough, yep. Wait, it's the same case, David. Same case.
You gotta take the pictures of you sleeping.
Oh no.
In Pepe's
no.
living room, of course.
If we keep it to like a once a year thing, I think it's doable.
Rip.
Whose house is it going to be this next time?
Oh boy.
I know, yeah. I've been like, yeah. Mew hasn't actually stayed at my house. He's only like dropped by because Brian and him came because he was staying with Brian, and then him and Brian came here to hang out before we went to the tournament. Maybe one of these days he'll stay here. Maybe. Who knows? Like as I said, very reluctantly.
Throws up a little bit in your mouth as you were saying that one. I could see it in your face. You're like,
a little bit of regret. No, that's a big
I don't know about that.
Well, maybe we could get Mewtwo to Riptide. We could go to Kraken's house and
Oh
keep-
my!
Oh no, it's not even.
a huge sacrifice.
You're all
Yeah,
sleeping
gotta
on the
get
floor. Good luck. One
Awesome.
person in the chair, one person have a couch. I guess somebody can. I'll sleep
we
in the chair.
we just
Two
need a
people sleep in
setting.
bed.
We just need a team member's like house for Mewtwo to get his annual sleep pick in.
Oh no! Gotta get some chocolate covered gummy bears with that. Apparently.
Hey, those chocolate gummy bears go so
Miss
hard.
those.
Like
I do
it's
miss
like
those.
yeah, it's like one of my motivations to go to Riptide.
I think I've told you how to. You guys can get those.
Yeah,
a few
you told
times.
Oh,
us.
yeah.
You've told
So,
us, but like
I've
I
been
know.
there.
ways you can get them. So
I know,
been there.
but like I don't know. I guess I'm just I forget to, and I'm too lazy to. But like
That's fair.
every
That's fair.
Riptide, like I'm always
The
like,
same, Kraken.
yeah, like this is my reason for coming here.
I'm
Nothing
so
else.
sorry last
Just
year. I
happened.
couldn't do it last year.
All good,
Wasn't
all
the
good.
cards.
Hey, you know what? We'll
I
talk
should've-
about for
I
next
should've
Riptide. But like even if you can't, like just I'm more than happy to pay for a hand delivery of some.
That would definitely be doable. And anytime, I'm always up to do something like that.
David, it's the same reason
and
why
or if you want
Shiny and I can go
bonus.
to Cali for
Eat-
Portos.
Yes.
Like, anything food wise, like that's
I go to Riptide for Porthos. Or you guys come to Sakai for Porthos. I go to Riptide for chocolate gummy bears.
yes.
Chocolate. See, another reason you should be on a team because you can do stuff like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, fun memories.
You can all feed each other. That sounds so wrong. Mewtwo would enjoy feeding each other.
Oh
Yeah.
god.
Here comes the airplane.
Yes.
Oh,
we can
no.
say David and I can say that we bought the main TO of Riptide games.
Appreciate
right?
it. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Food. I like food. And then we get kicked out of kicked out of where we were eating it.
Yeah, no, we weren't even, bro. Oh man, the lights were off.
They kicked
Oh,
they
wait,
kicked
you
us
guys
out
mentioned
where
got
we were
kicked out of
playing
there?
Monopoly.
You were there, weren't you?
I don't know. I think I went to bed.
You might. I swear we were eating
Went to bed a
canes.
little bit.
I thought you were part
This
of it.
most
We were eating
recent one?
canes. Remember, we went down the stairs. We were starting to there, and they're like, "Hey, we're closing that section." It was like 1 or 2 in the morning.
Yeah,
Wait, was this the most recent Riptide or the
this
Monopoly
year.
one?
one
this year.
season. Yeah.
It was this. It was this
Yeah,
year.
we were all like out right outside the bar, right? We were eating outside the bar.
No,
we
it
were
was not that one.
down the stairs where
Yeah,
like, they have
downstairs.
the soda fountains and such down there,
Yeah,
and then you go in the arcade.
Oh, that one.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
See, when you said down the stairs, I was thinking down the stairs to the convention center.
No,
No.
we were in the
Yeah,
main
you meant
lobby,
the
went
stairs to the
downstairs.
food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we knew we couldn't stay
stairs
on the
to
other side.
arcade.
Because the year before we got kicked out of Monopoly in that area, so we thought,
Yeah.
we'll go into the food area and not get kicked out. And we're like,
yeah.
they're
Oh,
like,
yeah, that's
God,
right.
God.
we're closing this section. It is 2 in the morning or 1 in the morning, whatever it was. And it was like
Mhm.
right at the
I think
hour.
at midnight is when they close that section.
Might have been
Because I've been kicked
midnight,
out at midnight before.
But
Which
it was
makes
like we had
sense.
just arrived. We had like just sat down, like just ate
Yeah.
one bite, and it's like, this is the only food I've eaten today. Okay, you can't eat here. Okay, like
Yeah. Shout out to Froppy getting Riptide TO's food.
the worst part is there's opportunities I can eat. It's just I always send everybody else, and then I leave myself last, and it's like I don't need it, but.
Because you.
and so I'm like,
Well,
as Twitter says, it's a 300-pound TO, 30-year-old TO. I send everybody else first, and then I go, okay, I'll go 5 times, and then it's like, no, we have a round change. Okay, I just won't eat. We're fine. I don't need to worry about the meal. We're fine. I'll have something I can snack
poor
on.
Kraken.
And I usually bring things I can snack on. At least some with a little quality, other than just chocolate covered gummy bears. I might bring those, but I don't think I have actually, but like because I know that could happen. You know, I try to make it, but I would rather make sure everybody else is taken care of first. I think that, at least to me, I always want to make sure my production folks are taken care of, and make sure Raze is taken care of. Send them.
Yeah, because they really can't get a chance to like get up. So like their opportunities are even fewer to go.
This year was better. This year we made sure that prod had opportunities. You know, we always made sure there was an extra person there for lunch. And this year, they had Jub. Jub had COVID last year, so they were down a person last year.
That's right.
Yeah.
So this year they had full staff, and then we made sure they had an extra person so that they could even take 2 people out of prod and feel a little bit more comfortable.
That's good. That's good.
For meals. So did make sure that they were in pretty good shape. Obviously it's still, what is on paper and what is reality are 2 different things. You know, I know they were still like, you know, it's tough. You know, it's literally the biggest land we know of for Splatoon in the world, and so like it's easier said than done. To be fair.
Yeah. Fair. So, so how does this relate to pickup versus team culture?
Yeah, this one
This is what happens when you're in a team.
This one relates to our past trauma.
We help each other.
Gotcha. That's trauma.
Yeah.
Okay.
2.0.
Did we do past trauma last time? Like, oh no, it's 2.0 because
the screen change. I didn't do it, so I just re-added it. Yeah. We can take it back to 1.0. You want to go back to 1.0? Hold on.
Oh no.
We can go back
That
to
was old
1.0.
trauma. Oh no. Go back, please.
Back to 2.0.
Okay.
I'm dying.
We're bigger now.
All right. Well, I personally would like to start to wrap this up. I whether you guys like it or not, but because I did get a cold in Japan, and you know, I just got off this flight like 8 hours ago. So, and I'm tired, and yes, all the things.
You don't want to sacrifice any more than you need to.
Yes.
No more sacrifice.
Yeah, there we go. Back to the sacrifice conversation. Yeah. So I'm So with all that said, what are closing thoughts on everything? You know, I know in terms of the pickup versus team culture, like I don't think we quite gave pickups like the love that they rightfully deserve at times. But I think, needless to say, this was going to be a fairly one-sided debate, as we are all part of a team. And but have played a couple of pickups for like different lands and stuff. And I think that we've, inherently internalized that as, that's probably the way that it should be. But I guess that's what happens when we have a team podcast.
One of the best things. One of the best things for pickups in comparison to teams is the exposure you get of different play styles. And
that's really good.
And like
we added to the list.
You don't really get that with teams. You're often stuck with certain people, and you all really know how you want to play around each other. But when you go to some sort of pickup, I want to use myself at Sunset Surge for an example here, where I'm playing with a brush player, but that brush player is not Kraken.
Kraken has a weird style. No matter who, I'm different than every other brush. My fault. My bad.
I'm playing with a shot player, but that shot player is not Pepe.
It's not me. Yeah.
I'm playing with a Gal player. That Gal player is not Brian. So you're playing with so many different just general styles of play, and they learned the game differently than you did as well, unless you basically were brought up with the same coach or a team. Like you basically are trying to learn each other and play to try to win at the same exact time.
True.
Yeah.
So I think because David wants to wrap up, and before we keep delving into this, TLDR. Pickups are fine, but let's have more teams in our life, people. Try to bring more teams to life, more branding, at both a team level and a individual level. Pickups are nice, are a good way to help also find teams or as a supplement in addition to teams or for lands, etc. I think it's
a great way to develop your individual brand. Like as we've seen with like a couple of the folks that run the tables with pickups all the time.
Yeah.
Like they've just become known as that. So like, and they're a very well known player in the community. So I think, it would break a lot of people's minds when they inevitably find a team. Hopefully find a team, I should say, not inevitably.
Yes. And real quick, onto the idea about teams just being very healthy. Trust me when I say this, that if the feeling of hearing your team, like I'll say us for example, TZS just being shouted out in an audience when you're playing on stage,
feels awesome.
It feels so special. Like all that work that you put in the past, like there's this special feeling that you don't usually get outside of like in your personal life, right? Or who knows? But Splatoon wise though, like all the effort that you've been putting in as a team, and you hearing your team name being called out, not just one person, but like a unity. You and your team, you feel stronger as as with your friends, and it's just a very special feeling. It feels so nice.
You're talking like 50 plus people in a crowd just chanting your team name. Like,
Yeah. That was a special moment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's why you never give up.
Never back down, never what?
Exactly.
Well, and then go team culture. And go trauma.
Go
Trauma is what bonds us together. Trauma is what makes team culture is very special. Because who doesn't love the idea of trauma bonding, which is also known as 5 a.m. Monopoly. With
God.
2 a.m. start time Monopoly, 7 a.m. end time. You're welcome.
I'll count that as trauma.
Well, it was.
I think I'm still recovering from that. That picture.
No.
Oh, no.
It's
There you go.
There you go. That's genuinely like one of my favorite photos.
Mm-hmm. And you can see
that's what
how
makes
deep
being on a
that
team
crowd is too. Yeah,
I'm like
you
right
can see how.
Man. Kraken's there in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Where's Kraken? Can we see Kraken in this
No,
or
you
no?
can't.
I think my big head's blocking Kraken.
I was
Yeah.
I was standing right here where Pork would be, or I would be
Or the
here
TO
for the
table.
TO desk.
Yeah.
I don't know
Mhm.
exactly.
One of our big heads.
I want to say at this point I'd probably went back, but
Yeah.
I was here when you guys were in Game 5, or when you won Game 4. I came running down shouting. It was me Game 4, and it was Game 5. I came down shouting. So like,
Mhm.
and then like, woo! I think I gave you guys a fist bump or something like that through. I don't remember. Eventually. And
Yeah,
then, but
I
had to
think
go
you
back.
ran up and gave us a fist bump, and then had to run back to the TO table
Yeah.
real
So
quick.
this was after that. So I probably ran after that.
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
so
when
I would be
when I said 50 people,
behind the big head
Mhm.
here.
Mhm.
Which is David's big
Yeah.
head, I believe.
Yeah, but when they say 50 people, because this was right after that took place at Riptide, that's more than 50 people in that crowd easily.
Yeah. Like, guys, just get yourself a team and have this experience. Trust me, it feels so good. Like,
Yeah,
God. Oh,
this moment would not have felt the same if it was a pickup. Like,
Yeah.
as much as I love playing with like Bishop, Roundy, and Fusion, like I don't think that we would have like felt this feeling like we did.
Mhm.
So that's really cool.
Yeah.
Well,
On that
any
note.
other parting thoughts? Yeah, before we call this one.
I should have this picture handy every single time. I swear we find ways to go to this picture.
We find ways.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's such a highlight for us. To be fair, I mean,
It is.
It's a big highlight.
It's the best team photo that we have ever gotten.
Shout out to Tori.
yeah, shout
And
out
our
to
faces
Tori.
are-
It's a little bit zoomed in. Obviously, you can see, but this is the point, But yeah, Blue Rose Tori took a great picture here. Fantastic picture.
Beautiful.
And the clip is fantastic, by the way, which I won't. Very good clip from that of the play into the production folk cheering and everything. But that's for another time because David wants to go to sleep. David needs to sleep.
Yes. I have an 8 a.m. meeting for work, so let's call this one. I'm gonna sleep like 10 hours because I only slept 3 hours on the plane.
Man.
Sounds about right.
So, and then I guess I took that like 2.5 hour nap earlier. So we're slowly making up time. All right. Well, thanks y'all for joining us for the TZS podcast. Episode 4 is this? What?
Yeah, something like that.
Don't we do an episode counts? Yeah. Okay, we are doing
this is
episode.
episode
All right, this
4.
was episode 4.
Okay, oh man.
I will throw out there
Already lost track.
tentatively episode 5. Tentatively, we'll announce it officially in our Discord. By the way, when it's official, will be next week. It'll be next week.
I wonder what's
Tentatively,
gonna be
8
about.
o'clock
I wonder.
Wednesday. Tentatively.
I wonder.
I'll make it official in our announcement soon, TM.
What will it be about, Kraken? Can you say?
Splatoon 2 versus Splatoon 3. A debate there, which is better, and kind of the ins and outs of both of them. Funny enough, someone who has not been on the TZS podcast yet really wanted that topic from our team. I won't say who. I won't say who. And I'm hoping to drag.
There's a 1 in 2 chance.
Yeah, 1 in 2 chance.
1 in 2 chance of guessing if you know our roster. But
And if you know our roster, then yeah, it'll be 100%.
who knows? They might both show up to this because I have a feeling both of them will be interested in this topic. So maybe I can strong arm both of them onto the TZS podcast this time.
That would be fiery.
Yeah,
I would
Fire.
and
probably not be there for that one, but I will
and then
doing it.
Pepe, you want to tease a little bit for episode 6? We'll get ahead of it. We'll get tease a little bit.
That's what I'm gonna tease.
There you go.
Okay,
Yeah,
I like that. That was the perfect teaser.
That was a really good tease, actually.
Good on the fly. Good on the fly one right there.
Yeah, excited with me.
If you've missed any episodes, all of them are here on YouTube. Those that might be watching on Twitch, sorry, that's on my YouTube. Permanently, they're on YouTube. I keep them on a playlist there, and then they go up within 24 hours of broadcasting. So this one will go out on my YouTube channel if you've missed it onto the podcast, cut and trimmed a little bit, starting tomorrow. So.
Cool.
Yeah. Awesome.
Well,
Thank you all for tuning in to TZS Podcast once again. We'll be back here next week with another one, and Kraken will be live tomorrow, probably.
Subscribe.
folks.
Go team. No pickups.
Go
please.
team. Good night, everyone.
Good night.